Ladies, did you know that some of the things you do out of love and kindness might actually make a man lose respect for you? It's not about being too available or chasing him. We're talking about deeper, hidden behaviors that silently lower your value in a man's eyes. Things that no one talks about. And if you don't recognize these mistakes, you might unknowingly be pushing him away, even while trying to pull him closer. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the one mistake women make that almost guarantees a man will take them for granted. You don't want to miss this. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to truly understand men and build high-value relationships. 1. Letting him get away with bare minimum effort. Here's a hard truth. A man will only do as much for you as you require. If you accept bare minimum effort, he'll keep giving it. Too many women tolerate men who don't text back for days, who never plan dates, or who make excuses instead of commitments. Why? Because society tells women to be understanding, to be chill, to not have too many expectations. But here's the thing. If you don't expect more, you won't get more. Men respect women who demand a certain standard of treatment, not by begging or complaining, but by setting boundaries and walking away from men who don't meet them. Example, a woman is dating a man who only texts her when it's convenient for him. He never plans dates, and when she brings it up, he says, "You're overthinking it." Instead of holding her ground, she accepts his excuses and keeps waiting for him to change. Spoiler alert, he never does. The solution? Stop rewarding low effort. A man who truly values you will step up without being begged. If you're constantly justifying his behavior, it's time to reevaluate what you're accepting. 2. Being his 24/7 therapist. Supporting your man emotionally is one thing, but acting like his full-time unpaid therapist is a completely different story. If he turns to you for every problem, every frustration, and every emotional breakdown, you might feel special at first, but over time this dynamic can shift, and instead of seeing you as a romantic partner, he starts seeing you as a therapist or even a mother figure. Here's the issue. Men respect women who encourage them to solve their own problems, not women who carry all their emotional baggage for them. If you absorb all his stress and always play the role of his emotional safety net, he may depend on you, but he won't desire you. Attraction fades when a relationship turns into an emotional rescue mission. Here's an example. A woman is dating a man who constantly complains about his job, his family, and his personal struggles. Instead of taking action, he just unloads all his stress on her. She listens, comforts him, and gives advice, yet he never changes. Over time, she starts feeling drained, and he starts seeing her as his emotional crutch rather than his partner. What's the solution? It's okay to support your man, but there needs to be a boundary. Encourage him to seek solutions, not just vent endlessly. He should have other outlets, mentors, friends, or even professional help if needed. A high-value woman listens, but she doesn't let herself become emotionally drained. 3. Over-apologizing and always taking the blame. As women, many of you are conditioned to keep the peace, even at the cost of your self-respect. But constantly apologizing for things that aren't your fault or taking the blame just to avoid conflict is a silent respect killer in relationships. Here's why. Men respect women who stand their ground and own their worth. If you're always the one saying "I'm sorry" just to keep the relationship smooth, he'll start to assume that his feelings, his mistakes, and his actions matter more than yours. Think about it. If a man forgets your birthday or cancels plans last minute, and instead of holding him accountable, you immediately say, "It's okay, I totally understand," what does that teach him? It teaches him that your time, your feelings, and your standards are flexible, while his are set in stone. Over time, this can create an imbalance where he doesn't feel the need to treat you with the same level of respect and consideration that you give him. Example, a woman is in a relationship with a man who often dismisses her concerns. When she brings up something that hurt her feelings, he turns it around on her, making her feel like she's too sensitive. Instead of standing firm, she immediately backtracks and apologizes just to avoid an argument. Over time, he stops taking her emotions seriously, and she begins to feel invisible in her own relationship. The solution? Stop apologizing for having standards. If he does something that upsets you, speak up. If something isn't working for you, say so. A high-value woman doesn't fear conflict, she embraces respect. Or making him your entire world. This one is a tough pill to swallow, but it's one of the biggest mistakes women make. When you make a man your entire world, dropping everything for him, canceling plans with friends, and putting your own goals on hold, he will lose respect for you. Why? Because men are naturally drawn to women who have their own purpose, their own passions, and their own life outside of the relationship. When a man senses that you revolve your entire existence around him, he may feel flattered at first, but eventually he'll start taking you for granted. Men don't fall in love with women who abandon their own identities. They fall in love with women who have a life that's so interesting and fulfilling that he feels lucky to be part of it. Example, a woman used to love painting, traveling, and spending weekends with her friends, but once she got into a relationship, she stopped doing all of those things. Every free moment was spent with her boyfriend, catering to his needs and his schedule. At first, he enjoyed the attention, but over time, he started feeling less excited about the relationship. She became predictable, she became dependent, and he started seeing her as an extension of himself, not as her own person. The solution? Keep your life exciting and independent, have hobbies, maintain friendships, and pursue your own passions. A high-value woman doesn't lose herself in a relationship. She brings her whole, complete self into it. 5. Excessive gift giving. Giving gifts is a sweet gesture, but when it becomes excessive, it backfires. Many women believe that showering a man with gifts will make him love them more, but here's the truth. Men don't value things they don't work for. Think about it. When a man is truly interested in a woman, does he sit back and expect her to prove herself with gifts? No, he pursues, he invests, he puts in effort. When a woman constantly gives, especially expensive or frequent gifts, it can make her look like she's trying too hard to win his affection. Instead of making him appreciate her more, he starts seeing her as someone who's desperate for his attention. Look at an example. Imagine a woman who constantly buys her man expensive shoes, gadgets, and even pays for their dates. At first, he might say thank you, but over time, he begins to expect it rather than appreciate it. He stops making an effort, stops planning surprises, and just assumes she'll always step in and do the work for him. What's the solution? Simple. Stop over-gifting. Instead, let him be the one to pursue and invest in the relationship. A well-timed, thoughtful gift on special occasions is perfectly fine, but it should never become a pattern where you're the one doing all the giving while he just sits back and receives. 6. Being too available. Many women make the mistake of being too available for a man, always answering his calls, always being there when he needs something, and never taking time for themselves. While it's important to show you care, availability doesn't equal value. Here's the truth. Men respect women who have their own lives. If you drop everything for him, cancel plans, and never prioritize yourself, he starts to take you for granted. Why? Because he knows you're always there, and that can quickly lose its appeal. Think of it like this. If you're always available and constantly at his beck and call, he starts seeing you as an option rather than a priority. He'll know you'll never walk away, so he'll stop trying as hard. Example, a woman is always available when her boyfriend needs her. She'll drop everything to run errands for him, show up last minute to his plans, and give up her personal time without hesitation. Initially, he's happy to have her around, but soon enough, he takes her presence for granted. She's always on call, and the excitement fades. The solution? Have your own life, be there for him, but don't be available 24/7. If you want to increase your value in his eyes, let him miss you sometimes. Keep some mystery and let him earn your time and attention. 7. Ignoring red flags. This might be the hardest one to face, but it's also the most important. When women ignore red flags in the early stages of a relationship, such as dishonesty, lack of effort, or disrespect, they're teaching the man that it's okay to treat them poorly. When you overlook bad behavior, you're subconsciously sending a message that you're willing to accept less than what you deserve. Men will always respect women who have non-negotiable standards, women who walk away when they're mistreated or disrespected. Example, a woman is in a relationship with a man who is consistently late, makes excuses for not being present, and sometimes acts distant or dismissive. She brushes it off, thinking maybe he's just busy or he'll change over time. However, over time, his behavior worsens and she begins to feel unimportant. She never stood up for herself in the beginning, and now he feels no pressure to change. The solution? Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to walk away when a man shows disrespect or inconsistency. High-value women don't tolerate bad behavior. They demand respect from day one, and they won't hesitate to leave when it's not there. Remember, ladies, your value is immeasurable. Stop doing these things for men who don't truly respect you and start setting standards that make them chase, not take you for granted. You deserve to be treated like a queen, and any man who truly values you will show it in how he treats you, not in what he expects from you.